You're watching ChillyBoy Productions. I'm Larry, ChillyBoy Chillson, and this is my review for Haunted Mansion. Now, before we get into this review, make sure to go ahead and click that subscribe button down below so that you can chill with me on each and every one of my latest videos. Haunted Mansion is a 2023 supernatural comedy that follows a woman and her son who enlist a ragtag team of so-called spiritual experts to help them rid their home of spirits when they find out the new house they are inhabiting is already occupied. The film is directed by Justin Simeon and stars Lakeith Stanfield, Rosario Dawson, Danny DeVito, Owen Wilson, Tiffany Haddish, and Jamie Lee Curtis. So here is the Haunted Mansion poster we received at San Diego Comic-Con as part of the Directors on Directors panel, which Justin Simeon was included. And then I did see the film at one of the early access screenings and got this awesome little pin for my troubles. But I have to say, coming into this film, Justin Simeon and his likability, his humor, just being himself at that SDCC panel sold me more on this film than any of the trailers had because, well, I came into Haunted Mansion very trepidatious. Now, I love a good horror film, and I also love a spooky, family-friendly time. And I have to admit it, I know that it's largely hated on. Nobody else in the world likes it, but I always have enjoyed the 2000s Eddie Murphy Haunted Mansion film. I know, but I grew up on it. I watched it as a kid, and I have fond memories, particularly of Jennifer Tilly. So there was still hope for me heading into this film. And ultimately, it just kind of felt like a barren black canvas. There were all of the pieces for this to be really good, but those pieces just never came together to create an interesting, spooky art piece. Instead, you're left with a pretty flavorless, but somewhat serviceable meal at the end of it all. So let's go ahead and talk about the positives first. Well, I have to say, most of our cast is very good in this film. Lakeith Stanfield is actually pretty fantastic, I'd say, in the lead role. He gives a performance really unlike anything I've seen him give before, and it's really fun to get to see him kind of be a little bit more fun and campy along with his weird type of usual character. And it doesn't hurt that he was looking real good. Rosario Dawson is lovely as the mother. Tiffany Haddish definitely serves up the majority of the laughs here. And although I think she can overdo it at times in the film, overall her character is funny enough that I was willing to overlook some of the dramatic shortcomings. Owen Wilson is also a blast. He just is basically playing Owen Wilson, but it works well. And Danny DeVito, much like Wilson, just kind of is being himself, and it's great. By and large, the cast is having a good time and delivering as much as they can with the script given. I also feel like the story and the film at large has a really sentimental, nice message and heart at the center that make it an enjoyable enough watch, that endear you enough to these characters that kept me engaged in what was going to happen with their story, particularly Lakeith Stanfield's character and his journey. I actually thought was quite touching, and the ideas behind grief and human connection through that lived in experience, touching on your chosen family, all of that actually, all of the heart at the center of this thing actually worked quite well. And while I don't think this is laugh out loud funny by any means, I did chuckle several times throughout the film. And I do think there are some genuinely funny bits. Unfortunately, that's about as far as my positives go. So what doesn't work so well when it comes to 2023's Haunted Mansion? Well, I have to start with the scares because they're not here. Because in honesty, this serves a little bit more as somewhat of a mystery than it does a spooky film, because you're searching for the scares the entire movie. I know it's supposed to appeal to kids and it's supposed to be a full family fare, but come on, we got to give some sort of spookiness, right? And what's really a bummer is that they start to craft some, they try to build some kind of spooky tension throughout the film several times, but they just dissipate it so quickly without fanfare, without any good kind of payoff to the buildup of suspense. So there's really just no scares for kids, for adults, for anybody involved. And for a film called Haunted Mansion, I really think it should have been a little bit spookier. And I'm sorry to Justin Simeon. I love you. I think you are fantastic. But my goodness, did the direction just kind of feel flat here. Combined with the really flat cinematography, it lacks like dimension and character. This house should be overflowing with character. The mansion itself should be a character in and of itself. Instead, the entire look of this film just lacks any sort of personality. And speaking of the look of the film, oof, that CGI is rough. I don't know why we didn't get practical ghosts in this movie, because these CGI characters did not do it. The CGI set pieces where we're like making mythical things happen did not do it. And our main villain of the film, who is a ghost, looked terrible. I was like, oh my gosh, how much better the Eddie Murphy movie looks, because so much of it is done with practical effects compared to this new rendition that is just a CGI fest. Nothing felt real, nothing felt genuine about this film. And I said most of our cast is great, with the exceptions of two of the biggest names. The first one being Jared Leto, because you could have cast anyone in that role and it would have been this exact same. Like, he brought nothing to the role. And the other was Jamie Lee Curtis, who first of all was done no favors by the CGI department, because the moment I saw her in that ball as Madame Leota, looked horrible. But her performance was also just really not good. I don't know what was going on with Jamie Lee Curtis, but she felt heavily miscast and a far cry from the delightful Jennifer Tilly. So overall, I think there is some stuff to gravitate towards in Haunted Mansion. It's a cute enough story, a cute enough film that I do think kids will have a nice time with. However, it just kind of like plods along without all that much urgency and virtually no scares to leave you with a film you'll forget about immediately upon leaving the movie theater. I know we were all wondering, why is this getting released in July? Which, from a marketing standpoint, is baffling, because you want to give families some sort of counter programming in October to give kids and the whole group something to go and do and watch without scarring them for life with actual horror films. That's what movies like Haunted Mansion are great for in October, and that's why they do well there. But after watching the film, well, there's really no scares to be found. So I guess you could release this whenever you'd like, because it certainly doesn't scratch that itch for the Halloween season. But overall, it's fine. That's about all I can give it. It's certainly not the worst thing I'll see in 2023, but it is a far cry from even the middling Eddie Murphy rendition based on the same ride. So that is my review for Haunted Mansion. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead, click like down below and subscribe to the channel so that you are always up to date on all of my latest videos. Also, join in on the discussion. Are you excited to see Haunted Mansion? Or did you also check it out at the early access? Let me know either in the comment section down below, or you can hit me up on Twitter. I love you all so much for your continued support. Mwah! Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.